Good evening, everyone. So today we are with a second or third game of the day with Poland. We have Poland's Night's Watch, which is Night's Watch, Knights of the Whole Hill, and from our side we have Martel Wars to come. Players are Templar and Flamen. I don't recall how many of them I've already streamed. Sorry for not being able to stream lately. Just workload, and I was a little bit sick, so nothing virus heavy, just headaches, but that's something normal for me. So we are jumping right into this. Let's see how this will go. Zoom in a little bit to see the cards better, and let's see. So we have, as I said, Night's Watch, Knights of the Whole Hill is something that I'm very familiar with. Although this version I'm not a huge fan of it. I looked at it several times and there is a lot of different angles that this could be taken, but currently that's not the case. And I like to see a little bit more aggressive plotline. Currently there is only a single march and a naval and PD. Those are not that huge in the open deck format. Basically the political disaster, for example. Okay, so Night's Watch Podwine. We have Counting Coppers Fallen from Favor, March to the Wall, Naval Superiority, Political Disaster, First Snow of Winter, and War Murmurs. Restricted card is Yoren, and we have a few spicy things. Looking at the event site, we have a single copy of Guarding the Realm. Usually you don't go anywhere without two. Journey to Old Town, something that we haven't seen, one of those fresh cases. So for those of you that don't know what Journey to Old Town means, it's a zero cost event reaction. After the plot phase begins, choose a character you control, remove it from the game until the beginning of the next plot phase. Then we have Lay Waste, Mutiny of Craster's Keep, 3 times, 2 times Night Gathers, I'm a huge fan of this event, and 2 copies of Nightmares. The character base looks pretty standard, although there are few interesting choices like Corin, uh, 2 copies of it. He's a very high coster and you usually wouldn't want to play Mutiny on him. And then we have Yoren, where again we don't want to play Mutiny on him as well. Although we won't, but we have to get rid of the card that we have. And currently there are not that many cases that could happen. I don't see yep, I don't see Janus Slint in the deck, just because you run the big wall, everything you steal becomes a Night's Watch. So then you'll be able to remove the characters you've stolen with him, and then sack, because he is a 6 coster, you can save your other 6 costers. Currently that is missing in the deck. Other than that, we have a single copy of Queen's Crown. I would have liked probably to see 2. There is a copy of Castle Black for some reason. There is the Iron Bank, again 1 copy. So Iron Bank is either 3 or 0 for me personally. But yeah, that's pretty much how the deck looks like. There is not any part of the aggressive location base that Knight of the Whole Hill I usually prefer to run, the ones that posted after Stark. This is like Hard Home and Bay of Seals. Bay of Seals gives you a lot of tempo advantage. It's very important also with the Hard Home combo. Next for the Martel, Wars to come, a pretty bogged down the center standard game, standard deck. Restricted Doran's game is in every Martel list. And plot-wise, it is a city besiege, it brings Doran Behest at the gates, City of Spiders, Expose Duplicity, Manning the City Walls, March to the Wall, Duheris, Murguris, and Riddle. Oh, looks like the yeah, and we see a first naval. Let's see, gates. So still 3 economy is more than enough for the Nightwatch side, for the Martel side, and then we have 5 for the Nightwatch. You see builder at the wall, underground vault. That's gonna give a single gold this turn, but he paid for himself. H craftsman. And this was by the sea. It's a good, very good card considering he is running also gathers. Wait, I'm not huge fan of this. I'll zoom out a little bit. Sorry about that, but the cards are flipping through each other. So we had to. I prefer it this way a little bit better. Back to my. Welcome everyone. I'll try to cover a little bit more games the weekend tomorrow. My game is here in the weekend, and we have a lot more from the Bulgaria Poland matchup. Currently going a little neck in neck. I heard about a problem that I wasn't here for, so we will review it with the team as well. See military challenge. The wall goes to the dead pile, and I think that will be it. Oh, we have my venomous blade ambush. Unfortunately, Ariel stayed on the board. That's not something that we would like to see in general because it could be Morgulist. Although a early Morgulist could spell a Doom for the Knights of the Hollow Hill deck. Into the deck. Yeah. We could see first snow here actually. That would probably. We see Princess Pawn discarded. Reserve, so that's not that scary. A problematic card in the matchup could be the Ghost of Highheart, but we are seeing that Venomous Blade is on the board, so that will be dealt with swiftly. The question is how opponent will deal with Ariel. Does he want to save him in some way or form, or is he just going to endure on behest here just to see what is going to happen? I'm surprised he didn't do it first turn to avoid the naval superiority, but looks like he didn't have to. Sorry for the flicker. I'll just stop touching stuff, but I just wanted to see the decks. We see form from favor into exposed duplicity, so that's a dead pot in the matchup, so just get it over with. Also gives a little bit of good initiative, unfortunately. Poland will be first again. Also, this has the economy that I'm surprised that he didn't play it first turn. It's just that I wonder why he's saving the behest, but we'll see about that. So probably he would like to behest into the. And what was moved? A princess pawns was moved to the deck. Okay, smart choice. So looks like this is the big economy plot for the deck. Although I'm not huge fan of, I mean, it's too passive, a little bit too slow for my liking. Although there are great benefits of it, I've used it to great success in a wolf, Nightwatch wolf, where you sacrifice whatever is stolen. Here it could be implemented in the same way, but not huge fan in the whole kill lineup. It's a pod that you usually play when you want to be 100% know that you'll be able to gather. Although the current deck is +2 reserve, and that's not that much considering the pot lines. And we have a begging bro. So no you're in this turn definitely. The underground wall for 2. And we see a big wall with a dupe. So we're gonna start seeing marches now, although there is only one march, but as I said, I prefer the more aggressive pot line, where you can afford yourself to run a little bit of everything. Is there Ari in the deck? That's the question here actually. There is a single copy of Ari in the deck, so we could see a little bit of ambush shenanigans. It was obviously all in. Looks like he's preparing for next turn, but looks like next turn will be behest for the Martel for sure. I'm not sure what the network side will want to play, although he will probably want to get rid of the begging bro. And that's only possible with Duheris, with Murgulis in his plot line. Neutral challenge. No defense. Interesting. You don't want him to die, obviously, but you're running only 2 of them, so. Your character, and I assume we won't see Ariel going into a challenge. Oh, looks like he went for the power. So, yep. Looks like he gave up on the plan to have the character come back to the hand. You just try to accumulate as much power as possible. Dominance will go to the Nightwatch. Now, this is something you don't want to see as a Nightwatch player. Unfortunately, nothing can be done here. It looks like opponent will have to discard again a card. And we see he calls it thinking discarded. I will Ravens to return dwarves to the deck. Our Ravens have two options although it's surprisingly that he's running a very wide location base and he's running also political disaster. There is no dupes for the Queen's Crown. There is a dupe for Eastwatch by the Sea. I'm pretty curious why that. So we see first now pointer into Behest. That doesn't help that much, to be honest. Yoren will still be cancelled if he hits the board, and next turn we'll see Being Brothers able to locate. We see Manning to draw 3 cards with Starfall Cavalry. A solid control over initiative, but the Martel deck is not running that much of it. There is one card that helps with it, but everything else. Unfortunately, no way to save them, although the Venomous Blade is going to be free with Water Gardens for the challenges phase. Quickly looking at Hakera's deck, I don't think he can win initiative at any stage, aside from probably if he doesn't run March into March. Other than that, and maybe the City of Spiders. But everything else is very low initiative, so that's one of the downsides of the deck. So this turn he will have 6, 9, 11 gold. With being with King's Road, and there is one more. It will be 13. Quite a lot of economy for resources for the network side, but Hmm, I'm not sure why we have a delay. Hmm, looks like the font has already been made. So let's see how this will turn out. So I would probably expect a dorm now around this time. No, just a fiefdom. So this is minus, well, Knights of the Sun are pretty solid, and we have 4 gold saved, which means he is planning to use the Venomous Blade. Definitely. Did I made a mistake in the math? So why 7? Oh, this is 3. Yeah, okay, so 7. So everything I said plus 1 gold. The good thing about the platform is calculated gold, so you can at least you can trust in that. And not making a bombering idiot like me. You see nightmares. Uh, so probably on the begging bro. King's Road. Yoren. Gonna probably take the army. Ah, I wouldn't have taken that one. Definitely, but and Benjen. I definitely wouldn't have taken that card. 12 cards in hand. Look at that hand, Jesus fucking Christ. Now let's see how this will turn out to be. It looks like he's really running on the heavy discard stuff, but honestly, I do not expect to see any challenges here, or maybe just a military. Unfortunately, we cannot see the player's hand, so that was a very strong turn for the Night Watch. But again, I would have taken the army. Oh no, he cannot take the army because it's 6 cost, right? I would have taken either the army or Ario. He's a little bit there, a little bit more important. Also, just because you cannot save the those guys from anything. Also, something refreshing here is that looks like Yoren will be walked on the board. There is quite a bit of ambush in the in the Martel deck. Or actually there is none now. Yep, there is no ambush. But with 12 cards in hand, although we know a little bit of some of the cards, so he decided to go for the military regardless, just to force his opponent. I mean, killing the party is not a bad situation. And even if Vengeance dies, it's still a position. Obviously, Intrigue Claim won't matter that much. You see, Benjamin is gonna trigger for the 2 power. I would have tried to claim him when he's like he calls it thinking it probably, but looks like he will give just too much now on this turn. So, and that's the end of the challenges. So Joren's gonna do an intrigue probably first, and then Ario is gonna jump back to the hand. What are the chances here? I mean, probably pretty high, but we'll see. Although he can probably defend it with Ario, if he has he calls the thinking in hand. Although I'm not sure if it is a good choice here. Get both Ario and he calls the thinking back into, not calls the thinking but Princess Pawns, sorry about that. Princess Pawns. You have to discard quite a bit of cards if he decides to return Ario to the hand. Yep, so he decided to defend the hand. That's a very interesting choice there. I would have probably tried to... Oh no, he's just going to play so he can return it to his hand. Yep. And give the strength for the power challenge or the military one. Reaction to return it. Yep. And you see his Viper is guided. Unfortunately, would have loved to see it played. But then on the other side, that's very unlucky for the Knightsword side, because there is a lot of cheap stuff in the hand and he currently didn't hit anything, so to be able to hit the wall. And yep. Now the question is, I mean, March is probably out of the question, but probably the Night's Watch player would consider playing it, just because he'll get a choice of 2 very good characters, honestly. Knights of the Sun have won me many games in a Martel matchups, just because if you get your hand on them, they just win the game. And it's 5 to 5 out of nowhere, just like that. Okay, that's the power of Yoren, to be honest. But let's see what else is going to happen now. I'm expecting to see probably Besiege to kneel the wall return. But we have to wait a little bit for opponent to discard 5 cards here. Luckily, it is in taxation, so even if he decides to use the wall, the characters will go in the correct places. And the wall will be nailed distant, which will not there will be no need to run the to play the besiege then. So if you could go with City of Spider, for example, to bring another army into play, or something else. So we see Desert Trader, Princess Twans, River Gate, Desert Trader, and Haldenius Court. All the Desert Traders. So we'll see if definitely Desert Traders given to the Nightwatch player and how the next card is going to be played. There is not enough action windows to remove all of them, but we will see. So now I would have definitely considered playing triggering the wall to force the march of Ravens on the Princess Pawns. That's something we've seen a lot of time happening. Yep, I would have removed the Haldenius sword because he is going to come into play in the marshalling phase. But people were scared for some reason of Princess Pawns. And plot phase. Reactions, no reactions. So you're gonna stick on the board. I would say I would have been tempted to Morgulis here. Unfortunately, we saw that the quest was used turn earlier, although it was necessary, so yeah. And now the big mind game starts. So what's left for the Nightwatch? Quite a lot of them, but currently we have Counting, Marched, PD, and Morgulis left. His hand doesn't look that unhealthy, although he wasted, I mean, did he really wasted 2 King's Roads? I'm not entirely sure of that. I would probably look at for the Nightwatch side, for the Martels. Okay, Nightwatch side. March, definitely March. And we see Besieged. So now this gives one more target for the and first player temporarily going to decide, although it's time for him to be first, I think. because else this plot will be very unpleasant for him. Although now with 4 cards, 4 quotes, Ario can become pretty scary. And yep, we see, unfortunately, we see Hakera chosen to be first. Then we're gonna choose to resolve the marches. Please march Shoren. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah. We see Starfall Cavalry chosen. And Knights of the Sun. Now we're gonna see the wall and the economy nailed. Yep. And I assume next turn the wall will be nailed again. With the exposed, with the City of Spiders. That's what will probably make sense to me. Unfortunately, the one gold for the Dornish Fiefdoms. We know there is a Venomous Blade in hand, so I would assume to see the House Phoenix Court now join the battlefield. We see Starfall. Now currently the backside is getting a little bit wider, so that it will be tempting a political disaster, but the opponent's location base doesn't look that great either, unless we see dupes now for some speed into them. Yep, so at this point, whatever you use the water gardens for, it will be a good situation. Just because nothing is in the range aside from Dorn, everything else is outside of the economy range that we have here. As I mentioned, I would have loved to see here a marshalling of the House Danish Court. But looks like the economy is a little bit spare. So yeah. After doing this for a year, and I know Trey probably feels the same way, although he's streaming the US sites, I hate this. This number doesn't represent my number on the stream. So I'm a little bit triggered calling out everyone that's watched inside the game. We see big old Quentin and 3 gold saved. That could be either the Venomous Blade or another Princess Plan shenanigans. At least Quentin rivals the, I was about to say, the ranging parties. Shooter the wall, another underground vault for 1. We're gonna give gold. We see Night Gather's plate. Now this is what I was referring to, that the 7 gold is quite a lot of gold, so probably the army is going to come down. I would have definitely considered playing the army. Not the Knights of the Sun, but the Starfall Cavalry. Or a Knights of the Sun and a Haldane Knight. Also makes sense. In no way or case you should play the Desert Raiders, that's why they are there as well. Yep, we see the cavalry taken, that's gonna draw a little bit of cards. Unfortunately, that doesn't give this so much needed power icon, and what the goal of this plot to begin with is the power icon. So, because Quentin is going to swing for a big chunk of power here, and we're gonna see removing a military icon from somewhere, so Ario can defend with the Venomous Blade and probably come back to hand. Although again a discard problem, but hey. Maybe we're gonna see a military challenge, to be honest. So 6. Unfortunately there is 7 on the other side. But there is more than enough plots in the use power if there is a princess pawns. So I wonder if he is going to poke for that military challenge. Actually, he can win it without a problem, so military with Quentin. And he's going to remove a icon from the army. Or from your end. Okay, so he's going to remove the icon from your end. We see post challenge. And to claim. Now. And I think Ario should swing for the power here. Yep, there is way too much power on the opponent's side of the board. Unfortunately, he drew quite a lot from the Starfall cavalry, but nothing could have been done there. And we have an intrigue challenge. And we see the second he calls it thinking discarded, so ugh. Not something you would like to see, but and dominance will go to the Martel side. 10 to 4. Unfortunately, no second march. So I'm actually not sure what we are going to see from the Night's Watch plot now. Probably time for political disaster, although he's definitely keeping Water Gardens and Starfall probably. City of Spiders has acceptable economy, and pretty much everything in the deck is pretty small aside from the single copy of Viper and the Starfall Cavalry. I wonder if we're gonna see a WoW use now. Chaos is gonna be nailed for another turn. And we see the Alframe starting to remove the garbage in quotation mark from the discard pile so he could get to the bigger juicy stuff, although he has quite a lot of way to go. I would trigger the wall now definitely, although he probably wants to remove the other Desert Raider from there before triggering it. Because the Desert Raider will be killed by the Venomous Blade that we know is in the Marteo end. And go to the dead pile, and from there it's free reign. So probably a political disaster, although this have to solve his economy or the Isle of Ravens. Because the other plots probably counting, maybe for the next gathers. We see spiders into political disaster. We see finally a winning initiative. So the Nightwatch will have to play first. So now the interesting part here is that he probably has to choose spiders to resolve first. If there is an army in head, I'm ambushing that army without a second question. The WoW currently is not that scary, but he decided to go for the WoW. And now PD will hit not that hard, but a little bit of scary. It's time to get Dario back to hand, I think. But this is one of the turns where he could actually rain disaster on your head. His ambush is costing currently only 1. And if there is even a Ricasso, it will be a very devastating for the Nightwood fight. So we see Underground Vault and Isle of Ravens chosen. I would have chosen probably the Eastward by the Sea over the Isle of Ravens just because Eastward of the Sea will draw me the other copy of Isle of Ravens and there is no... And yeah, it will hard, but probably he has it in hand, so... Yep, so we see these 3 selected, these 2 and the wall will be safe. But then the current situation is not addressing the board in any shape or form. And we see Starfall and Water Gardens reserved. So now we have Murgulis and counting coppers for the Nightwatch side. He will be at 8, 10 gold, quite a lot of gold. And again I got it wrong. And this gives 1 instead of... Don't listen to me when I talk about gold, guys. I never get it correctly. So, we bought a Mali Could be good. This could be huge. But it depends what he brings. We have 3-finger hop. He's gonna be Venomous Blade in the marshalling phase. Why do you even bring him on the board? And we have the Starfall Cavalry. The Starfall, we're gonna remove probably any power icon that's on the board. We see Messenger Raven. Do you know what this deck is? Oh! Now the question comes: do you remove Hope or remove the Ghost, or you have 2 Venomous Blades in hand by this point in the game? And a card in Shadow. Wait a minute, what could be in Shadow? That deck has a Shadow card? Ah, there is one. It's Inn of the Crossroads. One of those very weird cards. I think that's the only Shadow card in the deck. Yep. The only Shadow card in the deck. The question is, what do you remove here? If you're on a combo turn, which this definitely could be, you see 2 for 2, I would probably remove the Ghost. Or would think about it. So Water Garden is definitely going to ambush Venomous Blade now, but the question is what is it going to hit now? Yeah, if you're on a turn where you want to combo out your opponent, definitely remove the Ghost of High Heart. We see Water Gardens for Dorn. Yeah, Venomous Blade, but I still think the Venomous Blade should be played now. Definitely now. Just because the Ghost is going to ruin your day, probably. But if he doesn't play it, probably the opponent will go, no. Just play it, remove the threat, yep. Save 1 gold. Unfortunately, now there is no intrigue icon, but they're not gonna be in. There is 1 gold for the claim race if we see a challenge, so Starfall probably remove the icon from Hop. Why wasn't the icon from Hop removed? Now I'm confused by this, but let's see what happens. We see a Dorn trigger. Not something you would want to do at this stage of the game. Definitely. We see Viper discarded. Ooh! That's a very hefty discard. But it looks like Hope will not trigger this turn. There is no engine to discard cards from your hand. That's why you usually play with the Old Forest Hunters to just dump your hand. and gain economy during doing that. Just because hope is going to maybe there is nightmares in hand and he's baiting. But regardless, the challenge will be defended. So. Claim 2. And I think that gives us the game. Unless there is, as I said, nightmares. Because now unopposed power and renown. Unopposed nightmares. Well, there is no nightmares, else it would have been played on the Ario. So renown and 2 claim is 14. Ambush water for the military and get the unopposed. Ambush water for 1. And just get dominant with this. Or do the challenge. So yep. Pretty much that's it, but he's going to go for the challenge. Locally, nothing can come out of the shadow, yep. And that's GG. With this, I think the current score is a tie. Quickly, let me check. No, it's actually currently 4-3 for Poland. Looking at my reports, so looks like we lost our the real game. But no surprises there. So tomorrow I have a, oh my god, my match is the last one. All the pressure. That's gonna be very interesting to see. So tomorrow games are at 1300 and 2100 for GMT plus 3. For those of you that would like to join us and watch. So yeah, that power challenge felt weird. That military challenge felt weird. Thanks everyone for joining me. See you next time. Bye bye.